I thought I should maybe start just telling you a little bit about where Indelible Grace came from. I've been a minister with a ministry called RUF, Reformed University Fellowship. That is the Presbyterian Church in America's college ministry. And I was called to start that ministry at Belmont University, which is a school here in Nashville. About half the students are music or music business majors. And I began that in 1995. And as I was beginning to interact with students, generally at this coffee shop, Bongo Java, across from campus, we'd have these conversations. A lot of the students had come from church backgrounds, and they would have these regular conversations with me about doubts and struggles they were having. And what was beginning to distress me is they were feeling like if they had doubts and struggles, maybe they weren't Christians at all. As I began to try to press into that, where was that coming from? I realized a couple things. One, they had never really sung the Psalms. The Psalms weren't very formative for them in how they understood the Christian life and what they understood the normal Christian life to feel like. And also, a lot of the songs that they were singing were lying to them about the normal Christian life. I began to realize, man, I'm trying to teach them about the gospel. I'm trying to teach them about how, in the gospel we're set free to struggle. One of my favorite mentors of years past, he's a mentor by book only, Robert Murray McShane, said that a true Christian is known as much by his warfare as he is by his peace. And I had all these students that felt like Christians are people that have peace all the time, peaceful, easy feelings all the time. And so I was like, we've got to find some better songs to sing. We've got to find songs that are more honest about the struggle, and we've got to find songs that are more explicit about the gospel, because that's really what we need. And so I began to look in some old hymnals. I'd actually in college had run across an essay by C.S. Lewis called On the Reading of Old Books. Commend that to you. But in there, he says that you should read 2 old books for every new book you read. And I'd found that in college, looking around used bookstores, I found a lot of these old books were really helpful. And along the way, I picked up some hymnals and began to look for some old hymns that might be helpful. One of the ones that we found pretty early on was by a lady named Anne Steele. I'll talk more about her later. But it's this hymn, Thou Lovely Source of True Delight. And I thought maybe we would do that one first. It really gets at the issue of worship is formative. That's one of the main things I really want to be communicated today. Because I talk to a lot of people who are like asking me for advice on how to help with their worship at their church. I think one of the most important things to get people to understand is that worship is formative, like it or not. What the songs you sing are really shaping people's understanding of the normal Christian life. They really are expressing the DNA of your ministry. And while you may be talking about how we want to be a place where people are free to be broken, free to be honest about their struggle, often we sing songs that undermine that. We sing songs that make people feel like unless I put on a happy face and am rah-rah for Jesus, I don't really have a place here. And that's tragic. And so this is a great hymn that kind of gets at what we need is for Jesus to become more beautiful and believable to us. There was a guy who's passed on now who lived in Nashville here for a while named Bill Lane, who used to pray that prayer regularly at the beginning of worship. Lord, send your Spirit to make Jesus more beautiful and believable to us. And that really is what this hymn is about. Anne Steele wrote these words in the 1700s, but the music is a new tune. Good thing about a hymn is that you can join in pretty easily because the music's going to keep repeating. So why don't we do this one? I need my capo, don't I? Where'd I put that? This pocket. Sorry, yeah, we're all professionals here. That lovely source of true delight.
Thou lovely source of true delight, on my unseen adore, unveil thy beauties to my sight, that I might love thee more, oh, that I might love thee more. Thy glory, O creation, shines, but in thy thy sacred word. I read in fairer, brighter lines my bleeding, dying Lord. See my bleeding, dying Lord. 'Tis here whene'er my comfort's true, and sin and sorrow rise. Thy love with cheering beams of hope my fainting heart supplies. Oh, my fainting heart supplies. But too soon the pleasing scene is clouded o'er with pain. My gloomy fears rise dark between, and I again complain. Oh, and I again complain. Jesus, my Lord, my life, my light, oh, come with blissful aid. Break radiant through the shades of night and chase my fears away. Won't you chase my fears away? Then shall my soul with rapture trace the wonders of thy love. But the full glories of thy face are only known above. They are only known above.
I love the way Ann Steele takes us on a little journey, very much like the Psalms do. She starts out, often her hymns will start with a direct address to God. It's often creative. It's not explicitly like a quote from the Bible, but it's eminently biblical. Thou lovely source of true delight, whom I unseen adore, unveil thy beauties to my sight, that I might love thee more. She talks about creation. The glory over creation shines, but in thy sacred word I read in fairer, brighter lines. And yet, even as she longs for God to open her eyes to see Jesus more beautiful and believable, I love the way she talks there in verse 6. Even the most incredible experience of worship here pales in comparison to what we'll have one day. And Paul talks about that with the Corinthians. He says that that we'll be transformed. We're transformed from one degree of glory to another as we gaze upon the Lord's glory. And he also says to the Corinthians that what did he determine to know among them? Nothing but Christ and him crucified. So as we see Christ and him crucified, the beauty of that, it transforms us. But the full glories of thy face, she says in verse 6, are only known above. I've always loved this hymn. I think it's a great way to kind of frame us in the right place. But yet, look in the middle of it where she says, too soon the pleasing scene is clouded over with pain. I remember when I found this hymn in a hymnal thinking, man, are you allowed to say that sort of thing? Like, that doesn't seem like any modern Christian songs that I know. But it's where my students are. It's where I am. Sometimes I really do see the glory of God, and it's refreshing and satisfying, but often the pleasing scene is clouded over with pain.